excerpt reading number 4 from book number 1. I find that this next excerpt from my journal is very pertinent on the spiritual path when we share our love and our devotion for the Lord to our fellow brothers and sisters. It can take a turn, and so I wanted to share this one experience. Here I am in Yarmouth having a beautiful rest. This morning, Tuesday, I awoke. Krishna gave me a song. Wake up, wherever you are. The Lord of Love is calling you. He's playing his flute to lure you deeper and deeper into the grove of love, deeper and deeper through the forest of bliss. So this was on January 19th, 1977. Wednesday evening. My dearest Lord has blessed me with a truly peaceful and restful retreat. Then I go on to say, Oh Mother, you are so auspicious. Tonight I took a flower, a red flowering maple that had already been blessed in the shrine. My sweet brother Shrivas, also known as Bhakta Steve, Shrivas has been sending me tulsi leaves, sacred to Krishna. So I thought I'd send him a flower, flattened by a book, from our shrine. So I reached for a book to use and pulled out Holy Mother by Swami Nikhilananda. At random, I just opened the book and placed the flower in flat and shut the book. Later on in my room, I opened the book to look and see how the flower was doing. To my great surprise, the center of the flower had made a wet mark on the center of the page, right on the word Mother. So I began to read that page, and to my great surprise, it was the time Holy Mother made a pilgrimage to Vrindavan and other places. And he writes, quote, She was then in such a blissful state that at times her yearning for Krishna's presence and her utterance of Krishna's name with intense love reminds us of Radha. Mother at times openly spoke of herself as Radha, meaning Holy Mother, Sri Ramakrishna's divine consort. So just before my evening meditation, I looked at Holy Mother's picture, which often smiles, and wondered about these special unknown feelings I have for her. Now I know through her grace. I am so amazed at the unfoldment process that it leaves me speechless and almost unable to record on paper. Mother has certainly poured more graces upon my head than I could ask for, but the only thing I really want from her is pure love for her lotus feet, to consciously dwell in that pure love. My Krishna, Jai Ma. Jai Ma, Nandamoy, Jai Radha, Jai Krishna. Today I received a third letter from Shrivas, Bhakta Steve, explaining that our conversations about Krishna were having the opposite effects on him. Instead of inspiring him towards Krishna, it has made him think of me as being a partner to him. I can understand, through Mother's grace, though it hurts. What I learned is that our own personal spiritual relationship with our Lord must be kept highly guarded and sacred. It is not to be shared openly with anyone on this earthly plane until or unless otherwise directed to by our Guru or Lord himself. Trying to inspire someone without being firmly established yourself is only doing something in vain. Plus, it disperses what little energy there was in the first place going towards that one. Talk about trying to be discouraged into not having devotion and love towards one's ideal. Krishna is trying everything to test me, but through Mother's grace and love, for love's sake, I'm going to hold on as tight as possible to my Hari's lovely lotus feet. I'm more convinced he is my true love because of these strange new tests. As Vivekananda said, misery follows happiness, and the further advanced a soul is, the closer one follows the other. It's true. I was experiencing a certain joy in writing my brother, and now it's ended because of natural human ignorance. I can see the circle it made, and if I don't give up both pleasure and pain, I'm just going to be going around and around in all kinds of circles, great or small. O Mother, thy grace shall save me. Hari Om Tat Sat Om. So, before I read the dream, I will read this excerpt that I wrote in my journal as I was pondering this question. The question was, what does this mantra have to offer me? What can it do for me? Then I read that one is not to cross over the Meru bead, the one that marks the end of the 108th bead, but to turn around and go back the other direction. Right away that inspired me to continue doing japa, but with more understanding and more respect for this holy act. Then, following immediately came the idea or thought, how can baby Gopala become more real for me? How can I care for him in a motherly way? By doing japa and repeating the mother's name, pours forth pure white nectar from my heart through the right breast, feeding my child. Therefore, I must feed him every morning and evening, plus a bedtime snack, and if possible, at noon. My devotion to japa has increased because of this motherly concern over the well-being of my child. And all of this came about through Mother's grace because I offered up unto her and laid at her feet this act of japa, and this is what she transformed it into for my personal approach. One has to do japa in order to become purer and purer, and I knew this, but I still wasn't into it until I thought of it in this way, feeding my child pure nectar of Mother's name, that it may nourish him while he is still in the womb of my ignorance and darkness. Soon I shall give birth to divine love, and he will be my all in all, and I his own mother and playmate. Joy Ma Anandamoy. Hari Om Tat Sat Om. The last excerpt I want to read from this book 1 is a dream. And this is a very interesting dream. And remember, this is way before YouTube, way before all this talk about 2012. This was just a dream that came to me. And these dreams that I have really yet to share are the direct result of doing meditation, japa, and spiritual sadhana, spiritual practice, steeping one's mind in spiritual practice. Then the inspirational dreams will come, and they will inspire and bring forth messages. So here's the dream. I had a dream. And this dream was on April 26th, 1977. Today is April 26th, 2012. I had a dream last night about Mataji's leaving the body. From what I remember, there was expected to occur a great earthquake or some kind of natural disaster. So Ma took us all to this large building which looked like a huge empty church. We all sat around and waited. Then Ma got up and went over to the corner of the building and situated herself down. The sun was shining through the windows. Immediately, a few had followed her and sat before her. The majority stayed behind. And then gradually, they all came over and we all sat in front of this window. It was a very large picture window, so we could see what was happening. Ma was to our left. Soon, strong winds came up, and other people started running towards the church in frantic haste, and then came walking towards the church in serene stillness of mind were these men and women, all dressed alike, walking in two single files, chanting. Seeing them come, we decided to chant Om Tat Sat, so that they would know that we were religious also. And so they came in and sat behind our group, and we were all chanting. And the energy in the building became so high and intense. Then loud roaring thunder began as a sign that something was about to occur. At this time, Mataji had gone outside to do something, some kind of service. I went out with her, and the thunder was growing so loud and strong. Then, all of a sudden, 1 minute she was there in the midst of doing something, and when I turned around to look at her again, she was gone, leaving her sandals in the sand. All of a sudden, I knew why all this thunder was happening. I ran to her shoes and fell at them, crying, and then I returned to the building. Our group was already there waiting, but many people were calmly walking out of the building. No one was showing any sign of expression of sadness, just acceptance. A few relics were there, and some people started pawing at them, grabbing them. But actually, nothing was taken. So, Mataji ascended, and I just remember walking down a road, meeting different kinds of people, but feeling Ma's presence so close. Hari Om Tat Sat Om.